I want to go ahead and share a story with all of y'all out there about something that happened to me a long time ago, and hopefully y'all are able to get the same message that I'm trying to drive home through this once you hear my story. Back up in New York City, I was the victim of a rape. I left a bar on the Upper East Side at, I would say about 1 a.m. in the morning, and I took a train. Presumably, I was thinking it was one of the trains that would lead me straight back to Jamaica, New York. So I inadvertently get on one of, I'm thinking either the blue or the red lines, I'm not really sure. And at that time, in my drunken stupor, I wasn't, fully conscious. As a matter of fact, I kept going in and out of sleep. And, at one point I woke up and I found out that I was in an area that first startled me because at the time I thought that I wasn't familiar with it, but turns out it was right next to, it was adjacent to Yankee Stadium. So after exiting and then entering back through the turnstiles to get back on the train, I was sincerely lost at that point, and I was tired, I was groggy, and I just desperately wanted to go home. And that's all I had on my mind, was to go home, get in the bed and go to sleep. So I did as I've always done in prior situations like that, and as I still do now. I decided to reach out and ask a stranger, somebody I don't know, for help. And that's not a crime. It's not a crime to ask somebody when you're honestly and sincerely lost for help. It's a human need, it's a human right. So I reached out and I asked this motherfucker for help. Since what he did to me was just beyond the human. What it did, I'm going to call him an it, what this thing did to me. He was Mexican. I would say, I think maybe a little bit taller than me. And he, he was bald-headed. And I reached out to him for help, and I told him, hey, I'm lost. I need help. Can you help me get back to where I need to be? Guide me in the right direction. So, of course, he says, oh, sure. So I remember at one point, everything's just, a blur from that time, from that night. But I do remember significant details, more significant ones. I remember being on a platform that was high atop, and I recall, wondering, I don't know if I was out in Flushing, Queens, maybe, not even cognizant. It was to the length of the journey. I don't recall all of that. But I remember asking him, where are we? So at one point, he wants to get a bite to eat. So we exit the turnstile, we exit the platform, leave from it, and we go into a store, one of those little 24-hour, convenience stores that's open up in New York City all night. And we go in there to get ourselves a quick bite to eat. So he buys me something, he buys something for himself, and then he buys me something. And then at one point he offers to, I'm guessing, quote-unquote, exchange numbers. Not understanding. I guess, in my drunken stupor, because, I was drunk, and also because, my mental cognizance wasn't altogether there, and I was also thinking to myself, too, gee, I don't want to piss this person off, who's leading me and who's helping me out from what I thought, was helping me out at the time. I say sure, and I take his number. I don't think I gave him my number, though, but I did take his number. I do remember that for sure. And so, I recall, like I said, everything just happened so fast. I recall him, he decides to go through somewhere that was very unfamiliar to me. It was a bunch of buildings and stuff, a bunch of big brick buildings, high rises like you conventionally see in New York, and I didn't know where we were at the time. So I asked him, where are you leading me to? Where am I going? And he just said, oh, I'm trying to find a shortcut. And even in my drunken stupor, I realized that, hey, something's amiss here, something's not right. So at one point, I saw him go into the alley, and I recall him pulling down his pants. And I thought maybe it was the piss or something or whatever, so I decided to walk out of the alley and give him some privacy. All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, I feel something go like this. Like somebody just snatched me and C-clamped me from behind and just, knocked the spirit out of me. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on at the time. I was really confused. I remember I was in a state of daze where I was wondering, and I was even asking him, what are you doing? What's going on here? Why did you just do that? What the fuck did I do to you? What are you trying to do to me? And, he just kept choking me from behind. And, at one point he kept saying to me, just have sex with me, please, just have sex with me, just have sex with me. And I'll never forget those words, just have sex. Like, it's just so simple for me to just give up my body to you without my consent and against my will. Like, I'm just gonna open myself to anybody who wants to. No, you don't have that fucking right. So I was worried about getting raped. Fuck dying. As I always say, you're gonna have to rape my dead body before you rape me. So I tried to fight the bastard off. And despite my drunken stupor, as hard as I tried, I kept, he had that C-clamp on me, and he kept, I'll never forget these words, he kept begging me the whole time, just have sex with me, just have sex with me, just have sex with me. Like, it's just so fucking simple to just get, like, I'm not even a person, like, I'm just a thing. Like, my whole life being, because I'm a female, because I'm a woman, is just to give up my private parts, to give up myself to anybody and anybody who just fucking wants it. Like, oh yes, I'm, like, yes, just take it. I'm not a person, just enter into me. No, I have a lot more self-respect and self-pride than that, more than that. So I tried hard, despite my lack of coordination. I tried hard. And at one point, I pulled out the pepper spray that my dad gave me. And I tried to spray the motherfucker with it. But he was able to overpower me again and knock it out of my hands because of my lack of coordination. And, I remember going in and out of consciousness. The whole thing was just, it was almost like a blur, just so much happening, so much going on at the same time. And, it was just, you're not aware. It's just a blur. It's like a blur. Except the struggling and those comments. I'll never forget those comments, just have sex with me. Like, I'm just supposed to avail anybody of my body. Fuck you. So I felt. So I fought, and I remember blacking out, and, I don't know what happened from there, but I remember waking up, and then at one point I tried to climb the stairs to get away from the son of a bitch. I remember he grabs me from behind, and then, I spin around like this, and I'm on my back, and I remember he started punching me perpetually in the face. And I just kept thinking, about my dad's pepper spray, and, to me it was like my dad was there. My taekwondo, none of that could have worked because, my coordination was just out. And I remember this sick fuck son of a bitch, kept punching me in the fucking face. He kept punching me in the fucking face, and he kept telling me, if you tell somebody, I'm gonna kill you. And this went on for a while, and my face was just like, bloody, bruised, and fucking battered, alright? It was gone. So, at one point, a stranger came into the alley, didn't do shit, and when he saw everything that was going off, the motherfucker just walked off. Didn't offer me assistance, didn't offer me any help, anything. So, what happened was that when dawn came, I was, I woke up from my unconscious state. Sleepy, unconscious. But in a situation like that, you can't help but be unconscious. I woke up. I pretty much crawled from out the alley, and I tried my best to get on my legs, and I start shouting out, to any car passing by, anybody passing by, anybody, so anybody in the buildings can fucking hear me. Please help me. Please help me. And I remember, a good Samaritan couple in the form of a Jamaican couple rolled up, and the Jamaican girlfriend kept saying, she needs help, she needs help, she needs help. And the Jamaican fellow, he started the bullshit interrogation, well, what are you doing here? And I just wanted to say to him, well, I'm sorry.